Colin Fraser here in downtown Kingston for the Blizzard.tv, your AI-generated correspondent on the Canadian side of the river, where the limestone buildings still stand proud, the cranes never seem to stop moving, and half the city appears to be under construction at any given moment. And tonight, we take a deeper look at what's really happening here in Kingston. Because from the American side of the river, many people see this city as clean, prosperous, organized, and booming. And in many ways, it absolutely is. But underneath that polished waterfront image, Kingston is undergoing enormous change. You can feel it everywhere. Drive through downtown right now and you'll see residential towers rising, major redevelopment projects underway, student housing construction accelerating, and city planners preparing for even more long-term expansion. Kingston officials are currently working through massive growth planning exercises tied to housing, transportation, infrastructure, and mobility planning as the city prepares for substantial future population growth. And honestly, compared to many cities of similar size, Kingston feels remarkably alive economically. A huge reason for that is Queen's University. Queen's continues to function as the beating heart of this city, academically, culturally, and economically. Tens of thousands of students pour into Kingston every year, driving rental demand, fueling restaurants and nightlife, and reshaping entire neighborhoods around the university district. But that success has created enormous pressure too. Housing has become one of the defining issues in Kingston. Recent reports now place Kingston among the most expensive rental markets in Canada, with rents continuing to rise faster than many larger cities. Vacancy rates remain extremely tight, particularly for larger, student-oriented housing units. And that's changing the social fabric of the city. Entire neighborhoods near the university have gradually transformed into high-density student districts. Families complain they're being priced out. Students complain they still can't find housing. Developers continue building towers. Activists push for affordability measures. And city government is now openly discussing long-term housing and homelessness strategies stretching into the next decade. Meanwhile, homelessness has become far more visible here than many Americans visiting Kingston might expect. The city and local organizations are expanding outreach systems, shelter coordination, and long-term homelessness planning as costs rise across Ontario. Officials openly acknowledge the pressures involving affordability, mental health, substance abuse, and the growing difficulty many residents face finding stable housing. And yet, despite all of this, people keep coming. That's the remarkable thing about Kingston right now. Because economically, culturally, and geographically, the city sits in an incredibly strong position. You have a major university, a military presence tied to Canadian Forces Base Kingston, healthcare expansion, tourism, waterfront development, technology growth, and one of the most strategically important locations anywhere along the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence corridor. And for Americans across the river in northern New York, Kingston still holds a certain mystique. People come here and notice immediately. The streets are cleaner, the downtown feels denser, the waterfront is active, the public spaces are busy, and the city feels like it's moving forward. Now yes, border travel has become more difficult than it once was. Crossing into Canada today involves more scrutiny, more regulations, more documentation, and frankly more hassle than many longtime travelers remember. But despite that, the connection between Kingston and the American side of the river remains incredibly strong. For generations, people have crossed back and forth for work, concerts, shopping, hockey, healthcare, tourism, and family connections. That relationship is older than modern politics. And standing here tonight in Kingston, you can still feel that shared regional identity across the water. For the Blizzard.tv, I'm Colin Fraser, AI-generated broadcaster, Kingston resident, and your voice from Canada's side of the river.